This is the digital channel of the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. I am Manoj Mainkar, and in the next half hour, I'll bring to you news updates from India and around the world, awareness videos on coronavirus by Government of India, yoga on radio, and a lot more. We'll begin with the news updates.
This is the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. The news read by Maria Albina Michael. World champion PV Sindhu was on Wednesday unveiled as one of the ambassadors for Badminton World Federation BWF's I Am Badminton awareness campaign. The campaign provides a platform for players to express their love and respect for badminton by advocating and committing to clean and honest play. It has been 5 years since BWF's Integrity Unit was formed, and this time the campaign has been at the forefront of the governing body's efforts to communicate its approach towards integrity. Besides Sindhu, other ambassadors include Canada's Michelle Lee, Chinese duo of Zheng Si-wei and Huang Ya-kyung, England's Jack Shepherd, Germany's Valeska Knoblauch, Hong Kong's Chan Ho-yoon, and Germany's Mark Zweibler, who is Athletes Commission Chair. More than 180,000 people in the world have died from the novel coronavirus, nearly two-thirds of them in Europe, since it emerged in China last December, according to an AFP tally based on official sources. In total, 180,289 deaths have been recorded worldwide, for 2,596,383 infections, according to the tally at 1740 hours GMT. There were 112,848 deaths in Europe, for 1,263,802 cases on the hardest-hit continent. The United States is the country with the most deaths at 45,153, ahead of Italy with 25,085, Spain 21,717, France 21,340, and Britain with 18,100 cases. Bangladesh on Wednesday decided to extend the ongoing general holiday till 5th May amid worsening coronavirus outbreak which has killed 120 people and infected 3,772 people so far, according to a media report. State Minister for Public Administration Farhad Hossain said the government has decided to extend the nationwide shutdown of offices and workplaces to 5th May, the BD News reported. On Wednesday, Bangladesh recorded 10 more deaths from the novel coronavirus, raising the toll to 120. Another 390 people tested positive for virus from 3,096 samples in the last 24 hours as the tally of confirmed cases surged to 3,772. To curb the spread of the novel coronavirus, the government had initially declared general holiday on 26th March for 10 days. Later, that was gradually extended till 25th April as the country kept seeing a rise in the number of cases and deaths from COVID-19. Amidst tension with the US, Iran on Wednesday said that it had successfully launched its first military satellite into the orbit. The Islamic Republic News Agency, the official website of Iranian government, quoting the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps (IRGC), reported that the first military satellite Noor, which means light, was successfully put into orbit. The satellite was launched from the three-stage carrier Gazet. And was placed in 425-kilometer orbit. In his Twitter message, Iran's Minister of Communications and Information Technology, Mohammad Javad Azari Jaromi, congratulated putting into orbit of first Iranian military satellite, saying it is a great national achievement. 22nd April, incidentally, also marks the foundation day of the IRGC. 258 tourists of Myanmar were sent to their country by two special flights of Myanmar International Airways from Bodh Gaya Airport on Wednesday afternoon. They were stranded at Nalanda, Varanasi and Bodh Gaya due to the lockdown. All formalities, including screening and health checkup of tourists, were completed before departing to their country. India and Ireland will work together to further strengthen their partnership in health and science and technology to jointly address the challenges of the post-COVID world, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said on Wednesday. He said the two countries will work together to further strengthen our partnership in health, science and technology to jointly address the challenges of the post-COVID world. An official statement later said Modi and Prime Minister Leo Varadkar discussed the state of the COVID-19 pandemic and the steps being taken by the two countries to control its health and economic impact. Varadkar appreciated the role being played by Indian-origin doctors and nurses in fighting the infection in Ireland. Prime Minister Modi thanked Prime Minister Varadkar for the care and support being extended to the Indian citizens present in Ireland and promised reciprocal treatment for Irish citizens in India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address village panchayats across the country on Friday to mark the National Panchayati Raj Day. Due to coronavirus-induced lockdown, he will interact with the participants through video conference, according to an official issued on Wednesday. To mark the occasion, the Prime Minister will launch a unified e-Gram Swaraj portal and a mobile app. The unified portal is a new initiative of the Ministry of Panchayati Raj to provide the village panchayats with a single interface to prepare and implement their Gram Panchayat development plan. As part of the ongoing bilateral cooperation between India and Nepal to fight Covid-19 pandemic, Ambassador of India to Nepal, Vinay Mohan Quatra, handed over 23 tons of medicines to Nepal's Minister for Health and Population, Bhanubhakta Dhakal, in Kathmandu on Wednesday. The consignment as a gift from the people of India to people of Nepal includes 8.25 lakhs dosage of essential medicines, including 3.2 lakhs dosage of paracetamol and 2.5 lakh dosages of hydroxychloroquine. This initiative manifests continuing cooperation of India and Nepal in all situations and circumstances. Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has expressed gratitude towards India for gifting essential medicines. In his reply to Nepal Prime Minister's message, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that India-Nepal relationship is special and the bonds are not only strong but also deep-rooted. Gates Foundation co-chair Bill Gates has commended Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic in India. In a letter to Mr. Modi, Mr. Gates commended the proactive measures the Modi government has taken to flatten the curve of the COVID-19 infection rate in India. The measures include adopting a national lockdown, expanding focused testing to identify hotspots for isolation, quarantining and care, and significantly increasing health expenditures to strengthen the health system response and promote research and development and digital innovation. Mr. Bill Gates said he is grateful to see that Mr. Modi is seeking to balance public health imperatives with the need to ensure adequate social protection for all the Indians. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javedkar has said that government has set up 723 COVID-19 hospitals across the country. Talking to media persons, he said 1.86 lakh beds and over 24,000 ICU facility beds have also been created throughout the country by the government to deal with the pandemic. With regard to availability of PPEs and N-95 masks, Mr. Javedkar informed that there are 77 domestic manufacturers of PPEs in the country. An order has been placed for 1.88 crore PPEs. He said the availability of N-95 masks is 25 lakh. An order has been placed for around 2.5 crore such masks. And that is the end of this news bulletin.
Hello and welcome to the World Service of All India Radio. I am Sumita once again with you to celebrate today, that is 23rd of April marks World Book Day, a global celebration of literature, illustration and the joy of reading. UNESCO introduced it as World Book and Copyright Day to promote reading, publishing, and copyright. It's a registered charity on a mission to give every child and young person a book of their own. At the time when globally most schools are closed and people are having to limit time spent out of their homes, the power of book is immense to combat isolation, to reinforce ties between people and to expand our horizons while stimulating our minds and creativity. Now is the time to celebrate the importance of reading, promote a lifelong love of literature and integration into the world of book. How to celebrate? Confused due to lockdown? No problem. Here is some tips for you. Sitting at home, select a group of people you as well as would like to get to know. Make a common interest group using social apps via smartphone. Send an email out to the people you like asking them to recommend you one book and why. And if you were truly not a reader at all, pick to watch a film that was adapted from a novel. If you have a space in your house, you can make a small library by arranging your old or new books category wise. You can probably arrange a session of storytelling through a skit or play to the children on this occasional day. You can make Guess Who game, which you can play with kids. In this game, you can see if you can work out on who the book character is by acting, dialogues, or by showing the attire of that character. You can arrange in-house art and craft event like colorful bookmarks, cover a book, decorate a book's cover, etc. By arranging book writing session by telling them to draw their own imaginary graphic novel, storybook or a zigzag book, you can give them the option of taking the first line of their favorite tale and further while they are ending story. So, let's enjoy today. This program is presented by Sumita Datta, scripted and produced by Vishwaranjan Chakravarti. Stay home. Enjoy books. Goodbye.
India is at a critical stage in its fight against coronavirus as fears of community transmissions rise. During its lockdown, frontline workers are still going out every day to win what one doctor described as a war India can't afford to lose. In this section, we bring to you the best of advices from doctors all over India talking about various aspects of coronavirus. Here is one such doctor talking to you.
Hi, so it's Dr. Archit Agarwal. I am a medical officer and I'm working in the one of the corporate setups in Faridabad, right? So today we gotta talk about topic which like everyone is talking about, and I would just like to mention few things about coronavirus which are like worth mentioning. So first of all, I would like to emphasize on something called like why are we panicking, and like what why don't we why is there is no need to panic about. So we need to understand, folks, the coronavirus, or the pandemic we are facing, is it's not a very new thing, right? From the past we have been dealing with the something called as the Hong Kong flu, the Spanish flu, and the cholera pandemic. So it's like, as and when such situation arises, we as a society, we need to be treated as a whole, like united citizens, responsible citizens. We have to deal with these conditions. So probably let me tell you that why scientifically or logically you don't need to panic is that the same virus called the coronavirus, it has been associated with a very deadly SARS infection. The acronym stands by severe acute respiratory syndrome in the past, whereby the mortalities were 85%. But if you see the novel, we are calling it as a novel because already the infection has been done by the virus. So if now it appears for the second time or for the new era, so we call it as a novel coronavirus. So COVID-19, if we talk about the disease of the coronavirus in 2019, the mortality rates are not in any ways comparison with the earlier leak. So it's just 2 to 3%. But that doesn't mean we become careless, we become reckless. So the key message is we don't need to panic, right? So we don't need to panic, but we need to be responsible. Not only it's our responsibility, not only it's the responsibility of the other person, it's the significant responsibility of us. Now why our responsibility significant? Because in this, when malaria happens, when disease like which infectious agent is the mosquito, we become responsible to the fogging and all, because mosquito is the carrier. But over here the situation is we are the carrier. If we go out, we can spread the infection to the other persons, right? So we need not panic. Scientifically also, you just cannot panic. And of course, for your psychological health, you cannot panic. And if you trace the psychological panic, if you create inside, your body's immune system becomes weak, and therefore you're more prone to get an infection in comparison to the someone who has a very positive mindset during the course of the pandemics, right? So by now you're already be aware of what should we do, like the whole sanitizer thing and the cleaning the hands and all stuff. So let me just tell you that in diseases like this, I mean, I'm talking about the communicable disease pandemics, we need to understand that we have to break the chain of transmission. The chain of transmission will be broken by basically, if you google it up, you'll get something called as the do the five. Yes, so you need to wash your hands. By washing your hands, I mean the proper hand washing technique. And if you're a very knave and if you don't know that, so just remember that 20 seconds or 30 seconds of contact with water and a thorough rubbing with a very antiseptic hand wash would go, right? And if we talk about sanitizing, so you do need to remember that alcohol based sanitizer, right? You cannot be going with the ordinary sanitizer. So alcohol based sanitizer is going to kill the viral moieties, right? So if you want to cough, you should not, obviously you should be wearing mask whenever possible, wherever possible. But if you really want to cough, you should avoid the, your hand length, right? So you need to cough straight through your elbow and face. You need not touch face, see, because whatever microbes you acquire, you're gonna touch them your face, and you giving them the straight portal of entry into your body. So keep yours home and all space in which you live clean. So this is basically what, why are we doing all this? We are breaking the chain of transmission. So now, very important question people are confused about is why quarantining, right? So dude, please remember, this isolation or quarantining is not a novel concept. We have been doing it, and it's our foremost responsibility when the prime minister, when the government agencies, when the WHO, when the super like the supreme agencies of health are promoting something. Even if we don't get the concept, we are responsible to abide by each and every single decision of the government. So let me tell you what quarantining or isolation basically means, and why is it very significant these days, and how is it correct with reference to the 21-day lockdown period, or in probably more, right? So see, people have a question that I'm a healthy person. I don't have symptoms. Neither anybody around me have symptoms. So can I just casually go out? Like, yeah. So see, please remember, you might not have symptom. You may never ever develop the disease, but you could be a potential carrier. When I say carrier, carrier is someone who does not have the disease, who does not have the symptoms per se. Symptoms नहीं होंगे उसको, लेकिन उसके अंदर बीमारी होगी. द वायरस इज देयर इन हिज बॉडी, लेकिन क्योंकि उसका इम्यून स्टेटस बहुत अच्छा है, बिकॉज ही इज़ अ वेरी फिट पर्सन, उसकी बॉडी ने वायरस को अपने ऊपर हावी नहीं होने दिया, राइट? सो द बेसिक द होल थिंग इज ही हैज़ वायरस इन इट, लेकिन कुछ टाइम बाद उसकी बॉडी से वायरस निकल जाएंगे एंड ही इज़ वेरी फिट. बट इफ़ ही मीट समवन ऑफ अ वेरी लो इम्यून स्टेटस, कोई बूढ़ा व्यक्ति है, एन एल्डरली पर्सन, 60 ईयर्स से ऊपर जो भी होगा उसका इम्यून सिस्टम कमज़ोर ही होगा. ऐसे ही कोई बच्चा होगा, उसका इम्यून सिस्टम कमज़ोर ही होगा. सो वेर एवर ही गोज़, जहाँ भी वो जाएगा, खुद को बीमारी नहीं होगी, लेकिन दूसरे के लिए वो एक पोटेंशियल रिस्क फैक्टर बनकर रहेगा. So this is how you should know that even if you're healthy, even if you're in your complete physical psychological space, you can still be a potential threat to someone who is vulnerable. अब आपको ये याद रखना है कि स्पेशली आप किन लोगों की केयर करेंगे. हु इज़ द मोस्ट वल्नरेबल पर्सन? आपकी फैमिली में अगर बच्चे हैं तो वल्नरेबल हैं, क्योंकि उनका इम्यून सिस्टम अभी पूरी तरीके से, जैसे कि एक अडल्ट का, एक वयस्क इंसान का डेवलप्ड होता है, उनका डेवलप नहीं है. ऑल्सो एक एल्डरली बंदे का 65 से 70, 60 से ऊपर, इनफैक्ट हम कहें तो 60 से ऊपर जो भी है, उनका इम्यून सिस्टम हैज़ नॉट गॉट दैट लेवल ऑफ एफिकेसी जैसे आपका है. सो दीज आर द पर्सन्स हु आर लाइक more vulnerable to this. So this is the basic whole concept of quarantining, and as a citizen, we should, or we must do it. Like, we must do it because health is a priority. Health is a priority. You can definitely search out many creative things and creative aspects to it as to how to utilize your time. So see, the basic hallmark symptoms, if we talk about hallmark symptoms क्या हैं, हमने पहले बात करी कि पैनिक क्यों नहीं होना, फिर क्वारंटाइन क्यों एसेंशियल है. जो चीज़ आपने शायद सुन भी रखी होगी, थोड़ा सा कॉमन टॉपिक है, वो है सिम्टोमेटोलॉजी के बारे में. कोरोना वायरस बेसिकली लाइक बहुत ज़्यादा वायरल इन्फेक्शंस जो होते हैं, दिस इज़ अ रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक्ट वायरस, राइट? तो ये वायरस क्या है, तभी आप यू कैन गेस दैट व्हाई आर वी वेरिंग फोकसिंग वेरी मच एम्फोसिस ऑन putting on mask on our face, right? Mask covering your nose, ठीक है? Nose leads to your respiratory tract. Nose आपका respiratory tract, lungs वाले सिस्टम का ओपनिंग है, तो आपको मास्क पहनना बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि ये वायरस सीधा इट गोज़ इनटू योर लंग्स एंड इट प्रोड्यूसेस द सिम्टम्स, राइट? तो सबसे पहले आपको कुछ भी होगा तो सबसे पहले यू विल हैव कफ. आपके बॉडी में वायरस आते ही, वायरीमिया होते ही आपका फीवर राइज होगा, ठीक है? वो फीवर ज़रूरी नहीं है एकदम से 103 104 हो जाए, लेकिन येस, यू कैन हैव फीवर इन द रेंज ऑफ 101 102. यू विल हैव शॉर्टनेस ऑफ ब्रेथ, सांस लेने में आपको काफ़ी दिक्कत होगी. रेस्पिरेटरी डिस्ट्रेस होगा. नॉर्मली आपको कुछ ऐसे लगेगा, छाती में कुछ चुभ रहा है आपको. देयर वुड बी डिस्कम्फर्ट इन द चेस्ट. सो ये कुछ बेसिक सिम्टम्स हैं. अगर आपको इनमें से एक या दो या कुछ भी सिम्टम्स अगर आपको आते हैं, यू शुड इमीडिएटली कंसल्ट अ हेल्थ केयर प्रोफेशनल. एंड प्लीज़ इसको अंडर एस्टिमेट मत करिएगा. अपार्ट फ्रॉम द बेसिक हाइजीन, मास्क एंड सैनिटाइजिंग, यू आर स्टिल वल्नरेबल टू इट. लेकिन येस, वी कैन बीट इट, वी कैन प्रिवेंट द चेन ऑफ ट्रांसमिशन, और ये कोई और नहीं कर सकता, हम कर सकते हैं. रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हमारी इसलिए बहुत ज़्यादा बनती है क्योंकि आज हम ही कैरियर हैं. डिजीज़ हम में भी हो सकती है, किसी और में भी हो सकती है, राइट? सो एज अ like as a responsible citizen, just let it be, right?
During lockdown in India, many citizens are voluntarily participating in creating awareness and helping the less privileged.
Namaskar. Greetings to the listeners of the External Services Division of All India Radio. I am Poonam Mishra, writer, blogger, translator, and today, very importantly, a reader. A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. The man who never reads lives only one. If you have read books, you know what George R. Martin was talking about. I cannot travel all the places I see on the map, and so I read books. I cannot go back in time and see how people then lived, and so I read books. I cannot go to space, so I read books. And there are umpteen reasons to read books, to have a house full of books, to visit libraries, to buy them, to borrow them, to be lost inside them, to burrow inside. Books open so many worlds to us. Can we imagine a planet without the sun? Can we imagine a life without books? The world without books would be such a black and white world, or even a monochrome one, with no other colors splashed. Our experiences and knowledge would soon be forgotten and vanish were it not for the books that were written. Books are such an integral part of our day to day life that it is near impossible to imagine life without them. Textbooks, storybooks, dictionaries, biographies, fiction, non fiction, spiritual, religious, the epics, holy books. The list goes on and on. Everything we know or want to know is there in the books. In these lockdown times, many of us would be having a book in hand or on the Kindle or an e-book. They are the saviors of these restricted times, and also, if you are a writer, then the output of many idle hours too. In the present scenario, and in all ages before, books have been the companion to spend time with when in isolation. We owe an immense debt to the authors who painstakingly put their thoughts, experiences, knowledge, experimentations, reflections in the form of books. Can you imagine how ignorant we would be if not for the written word? It would be a dead world in terms of thinking. Books give us the intellectual tools to empower our minds. They shape our ideas, thoughts, and actions. They have the power to shape our lives. So, why am I talking of books today? Because today is World Book Day. Every year on the 23rd of April, World Book and Copyright Day is celebrated worldwide by UNESCO and other related organizations to promote reading, publishing, and copyright. It is observed annually to honor authors, books worldwide, to promote the art of reading, etc. UNESCO has selected 23rd April as World Book Day to pay tribute to great literary figures including William Shakespeare, Miguel Cervantes, and Inca Garcilaso de la Vega, who died on this day. On this occasion, worldwide tribute is given to books and authors, and also to encourage people to discover the pleasure of reading. This will generate respect for those who have made irreplaceable contributions to social and cultural progress. Also, this day will increase understanding among people regarding copyright laws and other measures to protect intellectual copyright. At the end, I would like to quote Carl Sagan from Cosmos Part 11, The Persistence of Memory. What an astonishing thing a book is! It's a flat object made from a tree with flexible parts on which are imprinted lots of funny dark squiggles. But one glance at it, and you're inside the mind of another person. Maybe somebody dead for thousands of years. Across the millennia, an author is speaking, clearly and silently inside your head, directly to you. Writing is perhaps the greatest of human inventions, binding together people who never knew each other, citizens of distant epochs. Books break the shackles of time. A book is proof that humans are capable of working magic. Thank you and happy reading.
This broadcast came to you from the digital channel of the General Overseas Service of All India Radio.